Hello, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here, and this is the live stream for the week. Apparently, today we are doing what did I title this? This is Let's Find Keywords. We'll talk about content, link building, niche sites, and answer questions. I will tell stories as well. If there aren't questions, I'll just tell stories the whole time. Welcome. Please let me know if you could hear me in the chat. We do have, looks like Steven is here with it's a pretty cool, I don't know what the, his little emoticon thing or what are those? Avatars? I don't know what we call them. Looks like some kind of Oscar the Grouch type character, but Steven's on. Gaz is here. I was just talking to someone else across the pond, Jamie from increasing.com. Got an interview coming out with him in just a couple weeks, but he said it was very hot there. It's hot in a lot of places. Yesterday it was about 100 here in I think it was over 100 Fahrenheit in the Colorado area. It's hot everywhere. It's very warm everywhere. Daniel is here. Also, what's up? We have Sam. We have Urdu. Marcus, what's going on? Marcus says, is it niche or niche? So early on, that's a great question. Early on, I went with the niche. And because it is my website, Niche Site Project, I just stuck with it. And I think probably, I learned all the beginning in the early days. I got started because of Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income. And I think, if I remember right, he did say niche. So I think niche is probably correct, but niche is often acceptable. And that is what I say. I think people are happy with either one. Shah, what's going on? People can hear me. We have Soul Diary Vlogs. Rick is here. And Marcus says, it's really hot in the Netherlands, 97. Very warm. And Gaz says the construction site was unbearable. It was 39 to 40 degrees, which I think, that's like around 100 or so. But I have been working. This is part of the stories until we get to the meat of things here. Which, by the way, so we're going to do keyword research. I do this every now and then where I actually go to the keyword research tool that I use most of the time, which is KWFinder. I am an affiliate for KWFinder. And if I was smart whenever I did this description here, I put an affiliate link, which I did. I thought far enough ahead. You could save 10% if you do use KWFinder. If you are a regular to the live streams or my podcast or anything like that, you know that I actually don't care which product you use. I think all of them can work fine. I do like KWFinder, and that is the one that I use for sort of my pure keyword research. But just to emphasize it again, you can use probably any of the tools as long as they're modern and they've been updated over time. It should be okay. There are tons of them out there. Some people swear by Ahrefs. Some people like SEMrush. Some people like Ubersuggest. I'm using KWFinder, and that's what we're going to use today. I'm an affiliate, so if you sign up, I get a commission. You can save 10%. But again, you can use any tool that you want, and it is okay with me. I don't have a strong preference. I want to thank Otis Global. They sponsor these. They have premium age domains. I'm going to roll an ad from them later when my voice needs to rest. Also want to thank Ezoic. They have a product called Leap, which is very cool. Helps your site load faster and get green in core web vitals. They also have Content Month starting in August. I'm going to be participating in that, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the future. So thanks to Ezoic. You can also join Ezoic with no minimum traffic requirement. So even if you have a brand new site, you can go get moving with access now. and start using tools like Leap. And I think that's it for now. We can kind of, get into it. So, story time. It is hot. And one project that I'm working on, which I will tie into the keyword research, is we are getting rid of the lawn in our front yard. So we have a lawn there, and we kind of live in a desert. It doesn't really rain that much here in Colorado, or at least the part of Colorado I am in, which is the Front Range area near Boulder. So if you look at a map, it's kind of, it's kind of in the flat area, but the foothills are pretty close by. So it doesn't rain that much, and we have these lawns. It's really kind of wasteful. So we're putting what's called xeriscape, and this is kind of a fun thing. I was pronouncing it xeroscape because that's what apparently, I didn't realize it, but like, I don't know, 60% of the people that had mentioned it to me, they called it xeroscape. And I'm certain of that. They called it xeroscape. And I've been out in the yard working because I've been getting this sawed up. I'm just with a shovel, and it's, I think it's about 800 square feet or so of where I'm working, which doesn't sound huge, but it's very hot, and the ground, it doesn't want to give up the sod. So what I'm doing is pulling up the sod, flipping it over onto each other. So I'm really only probably doing, I don't know, 600 square feet of it, because I'm flipping it upside down, and we're going to put rock on top of that, and then we will plant plants. To be redundant, we're gonna use plants that don't need much water instead of a lawn where you're basically just like dumping water on it and then it barely stays alive. So anyway, I was out there working on Sunday when it was 100 degrees. I was out there for about 8 or 9 hours, and man, it was crazy. I'd come inside every, I would say 45 minutes to an hour, and just drink a huge amount of water. Put a little salt in there, make sure I get some electrolytes. And I lived, everything was fine. And man, I slept like a baby. I slept for nearly 9 hours. I was so beat. It was like going on just a massive, huge hike. My watch said I got 32,000 steps that day, over 16 miles. It was bananas, but I haven't slept that well in a long time. I was out. So we will talk about keyword research. I'm sure there are questions in here. Let's see, what else? Okay, Sam says solid to mid-high 30s all day, which is, that is hot. That is in the 90s in Fahrenheit. Soul Diary Vlog says, I want to start my blog, but stuck in niche selection. And Marcus says that he knows the struggle. So, there's a couple live streams that I've done about niche selection. And I think, most of the time, you're probably going to be able to find something that works for you, where you're interested in the topic, and there's enough keywords to support a blog that earns thousands per month. I mean, even a very small topic area can earn thousands per month. And if you have a much sort of broader set of things that you could write about, in the case of a blog, I mean, you can earn probably more money than you think that you can from a small blog. Usually once you get started, and if you, I guess, keep iterating, like, you realize that you can earn a lot of money from a very small blog, perhaps with less traffic than you think. Josie, little shout out for Ahrefs. She's using it right now. All right, and we will hop into keyword research. If you have any niche ideas to dive into, let me know. I will be looking at the xeriscaping stuff, which once you see how to spell it, you'll realize, people are mispronouncing it. And it's one of those words that you hear the usage, people are mispronouncing it. And then you say what they're saying, and then what happens is your wife laughs at you and says, Doug, why are you pronouncing it like that? it's not spelled that way. And then I was like, well, how do you spell it? And then she showed me, and then I still couldn't pronounce it the right way. She's been working with me, so I think I'm getting closer. Turns out it doesn't matter. I'm still digging the fucking sod up from the front yard, and I have literally tons of material. It's going to be dropped off on Thursday, and that's only about, I think about 1/3 of it. I'm going to have 6 tons of rock and topsoil delivered, along with 2 cubic yards of what they call squeegee, which is like a fine sort of pebble. It helps it drain. So it's going to be topsoil mixed in with squeegee. Literally 6 tons of stuff that I'm going to be moving. So it'll be hot as fuck. But it's a great workout. I'll be able to skip the workout that day. So Shaw has a good question here. We'll come back to it. And overcoming fear, that's a great one. I'll come back to that in a second. One tap, what's going on? And Gaz, throwback from the 70s, you're 100% correct. Mork and Mindy was set in Boulder. That is correct. And I believe it was filmed somewhere else, but the exterior of the house was right next to Pearl Street, which is sort of the main little mall. It's like a outdoor mall there in Boulder. It's kind of the place to go. If you go to Boulder, you got to walk down Pearl Street. There's little shops and stuff, a lot of places to eat, a couple good breweries. It's a good area. Honey says, do you think SEO Autopilot is worth to use for tier 2 link building? So I don't know what SEO Autopilot is. However, I do know what tier 2 link building is. So I'm going to say no, probably not worth it. And all right. Sam says, I thought I had a good niche, but now I've gone and done more digging, and now I'm not as confident, but I'm in it now, so I'm just going to keep going, just qualifying keywords for where to start writing, finally. So Sam, why are you not as confident? Is it too competitive, or you don't think you could find enough keywords? My man Jason's on. What's happening? Guy says, my niche had some competition, but after exploring, I thought I could do a better job, which is perfect because basically, if there's competition out there, that is okay. That sort of proves the business model. And I've mentioned it as a theme the last couple of weeks, probably months, where if you just have a longer timeline and you want to do a good job and you're interested in the niche and you could spend time on it, there's no reason that you can't do a better job than your competition over time. Marcus says, I have a gaming related site. In the beginning, the commissions were great, but they've been declining for a long time and they're quite low now. That's a bummer. Oh, Sam says you spent a week in Boulder once. It's a lovely town. Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, so we have another question from Malik. I'll come back to that. And we can start doing some keyword research now. So I've talked for a few minutes. And I will come back, Malik. And there was another question that I marked over here to come back to from Shaw about overcoming fear. But those are not relevant to keyword research. So I'm going to come back to them at the end. And I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Probably. Boom. So we're going to explore xeriscaping. And it's spelled xeriscape. And it's a style of landscape requiring little or no irrigation or maintenance, and it's used in arid regions. And a lot of people say xeriscape. And I thought it was xeriscape, number one, because that's what everyone who came up to me and talked to me about it said. And then the other is I thought it was like it needs zero water or zero irrigation or something like that. But let's see how you're supposed to pronounce this. Let's ask the Google here. Oh yeah, and if you have a chance to hit the thumbs up, it's much appreciated. I think YouTube likes that. All right, I'm going to listen. Xeriscape. All right, I don't think you can hear that, but hold on. Yeah, I don't think I can play it very well. Or maybe I could play it through the headphones. I don't know if this will work.
Xeriscape.
You guys hear that?
Xeriscape.
Yeah, I don't know. I always want to say Xeriscape anyway. Xeriscape. Okay. So we're looking for like informational keywords here. So we're just starting at a very broad point. And then I didn't do any preparation other than, well, just thinking about all the rocks that I'm going to put in my yard coming up soon here. So we have some Wikipedia entries. Let's see if there's any. So this is a lot of local stuff here. And there's informational things, but what we're looking for is going a little bit deeper here. So one thing that makes it easier is I'm using keywords everywhere here, over here. So there's like all these different ideas that we can aim for. So related keywords and people also search for. So we will be using KWFinder, but they do make it a little bit easier to find. Oh, and look, someone actually searched for xeriscape versus xeriscape. 110 searches per month. So maybe I'm onto something here. Is xeriscaping a different thing? Okay. This is perfect. It settles the debate between my wife and I. The correct way to say xeriscape is xeriscape, not xeroscape. Xeriscape is a type of landscape design that uses drought-tolerant plants with no supplemental irrigation. Xeriscape is a yard filled predominantly with gravel, dirt, containing few or no plants. So we will have plants. There is a difference. Okay. It's settling the debate. Okay. Now let's get back to where we were and check out long tail keywords. So xeriscape front yard, definition, different location, plants, garden, and yep. So a lot of locations here. So let's go this route. So this is using just Google and then relying on some long tail keywords given to us by Keywords Everywhere. Now, everyone might not have keywords everywhere. So what I'm going to do is look for related keywords down here. So here are some related searches. So it's not giving us a ton to go off of. Let's take one other quick tactic where we see what autocomplete pops up. So we have front yard, that's 2,900 searches per month. So let's check that out just to see what happens here. So we see some images, so people are curious what a yard might look like that is xeriscaped. Xeriscaped. And we see it's a very popular term. It's growing in popularity, and it is, kind of going insane here in these summer months. And I thought about recording the progress that I was making in the front yard there, but then decided that I didn't want to try to film all that, and I just needed to focus on the thing that I was doing. Okay, so we have front yard, and let's see what autocomplete gives us here. So now we're into ideas and designs, which are, I think, very similar. Cost, which is interesting, and even more like locations. So I think there could be value in this area because you can show different locations. Basically, for most states, I would say these are probably the dry, arid states. You could have examples of the plants that you could plant. So Texas would have different plants than we have here in Colorado or Wyoming, because it gets very cold in Wyoming and in Colorado as well, but even colder in Wyoming. So you would have to think about that ahead of time. So you actually could use these locations and see, what plants are out there. So if we click on Texas, then we'd see examples, of course, but then there's probably like some specific plants and specific things that you would need to think about. There's probably different places in Texas or say in Colorado, right? If you're on the west side of the state, on the west side of the Rockies, you're probably going to get a little bit more precipitation. You're probably going to get a little bit more snow as well. And you might be able to grow some different plants. So once you get on the east side, it's much drier over here on the Front Range side. So we're getting some ideas here. I see trees are listed here, and you're probably noticing I'm going all over the place, but I'm just like generating ideas at this point. So you could use these kind of techniques if you are looking for a niche or niche. This is the pronunciation podcast live stream. It's a live stream, but trees, specific plants, and here we see North Texas listed. We see Central Texas as well. Hill country, that's a different area. Here's some other long tail keywords. So front yard Texas, front yard Colorado, and okay, so we're starting to get a few ideas here. Let's see if there's anything else auto suggest wise. So front yard Texas, ideas, Colorado, cost. So I think from here, like one assumption that we can make is you can get a handful of ideas. One is the topic area, right? So xeriscape, ideas, cost, and specific location. So you can mix and match those and probably come up with a pretty decent website and have, if I just had to guess, at least 100 topic areas that you could cover with images. Now, where you get the images, well, I'm not sure about that. You'd have to either take pictures in these specific places or get permission to use them. But the idea overall is you could come up with a bunch of topic ideas. This is roughly informational so far. One thing that I didn't get into is you may still need to have some irrigation. That's one of the challenges we're working through now. We have a sprinkler system and it's set up to spray water over the lawn. We don't need that anymore. We need some drip lines to go out to specific plants, and that's it. So there's going to be a lot less water going out. Additionally, the plants that we're going to plant, they're not going to even need that much water. So now there's informational topics related to converting a normal sprinkler system and irrigation system to drip lines. Some of you are already ahead of me and you're thinking, well, there's products related to that. And that's 100% correct. There are products related to the sprinkler system. So you could probably have affiliate links. You could have informational topics about how to convert it over, ideas around converting a sprinkler system, what kind of drippers you need, and then you can have an affiliate link to the products that you're recommending. So it's kind of informational based, like how to convert a sprinkler system, a normal lawn irrigation system, to a dripper system. And then you could recommend products, and you could have probably several different vendors that offer those affiliate products. So it kind of makes sense. Of course, the informational content, you can have display ads. So it all fits together. I would venture to guess also that there are potentially online courses to do this stuff where someone, maybe it's a landscape engineer, a landscape designer who knows how to do this stuff, and they actually go through how to design and plan and then get all that rock out into your yard. Now for me, it's going to be a shovel and, me shoveling 6 tons of rock around. Like I said, this is only about half or a third. There's going to be a lot more. But I'm doing it in stages so that I can, do the stuff in the middle and then I'll work on the outside. It'll be great. Okay, so let's hop over to KWFinder. Let's see what's going on there. So we're starting with xeriscape, US, English. We'll find some keywords here. All right. And one cool thing with the KWFinder, make sure I'm zoomed in, not too much there. Okay. So we have about 90 keywords that popped up. Some related keywords are shown. And the search volume average over the last 12 months is 28,000. And you can see, it's seasonal. People think about it in the summer, but it's very much a growing trend. Very much. It's getting more and more popular, which, I think it's probably just going to keep getting more and more popular. We can check out the autocomplete. So if I click on that, it takes a second to go fetch. And it does some of the same things that we did manually just now. So if you're in Google and you type in a word, you click, the space bar, there will be some autocomplete suggestions, auto suggest. And KWFinder does it automatically and then gives you the different keywords along with the search volume and the keyword difficulty. You'll notice that many of these, they don't have a search volume listed. If it's NA, then it's, such a long tail that it's showing like no searches. It's a pretty unusual thing for people to search for. And if there's no KD, it means it hasn't even been calculated. Now, if you do click on the KD column, it will go and calculate it. It shows it's an 18 here. And Arvada is just one of the local, a lot of these are local. So one thing that isn't a local is xeriscape annuals. So if you click on that one, it's a 14. So pretty low. That's shown as easy. 10 searches per month. And one of the great things with KWFinder is I have the SERP overview over here. So it shows you the snippet. So gardeningknowhow.com is shown. We have some others. So extension of Colorado State. We have Harlequin's Gardens, another organization. So I don't know what that is. It's cpnmd.org, just rolls off the tongue. The spruce, and then we have more aggregated data. So this is one of the greatest things with KWFinder. You get the domain authority in this column here, page authority, citation flow, and trust flow. That's from Majestic. Number of links, Facebook shares, the LPS, which is the link profile strength. That's a proprietary metric by Mangools tools that they use here at KWFinder, but you could kind of think of it as, this is my own analogy, but I kind of think of that as the page authority or the URL rating. And then the EV is the estimated visits per month based on where it's ranked and the search volume. So there's some assumptions made based on what rank it is, the number of clicks that position number 2 usually gets, and then they factor that into the search volume, and that is the estimated volume, estimated visitors based on the search volume. Okay. So that said, you can scroll down and get some different ideas. So xeriscape bushes. Every time I say it, I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. So 19, there's books. People are looking for books, and a berm, which is like a little hill. We're actually going to put a few berms. So this is a growing area. This is kind of obscure. And when people get into it, they have a shitload of questions. So we researched this quite a bit. And I mean, there's a lot of information. It is a growing area. And I believe, I mean, it sounds like we opened this by talking about how hot it was. I think this is going to be a growing area as people are trying to conserve water. And they're like, I don't want to cut my grass anymore. Why don't we just put a shitload of rocks out there and plants that don't need to be cut? Which is exactly what we're doing. And many of you are probably very worried about Georgie, our dog, thinking, oh, she doesn't have a lawn. But don't worry. We have a little bit of a lawn in the backyard, and that's where she plays. She doesn't really play in the front yard. So she doesn't care. It turns out she would play in rocks anyway. She's fine with the grass. And it's someone I was talking to, they were like, oh yeah, Georgie needs a place to go to the bathroom, but she doesn't go to the bathroom on the lawn. That's her play area. She goes to the bathroom like in the gravel in the other part of the yard anyway. So, but anyone who thought about that, thanks for thinking of Georgie. She's one of the members of the family here. All right. So people are looking for cost, and that's a pretty important one. And that would require some research. This is a great one. It's still easy. It says at a KD of 28, but this is one where I think you could probably add a ton of value. I don't know if anyone's in this niche or something, but I think with this one, you could go and have some sort of templated designs where you're making some assumptions, maybe a couple different kind of yards, for example, different sizes, maybe the cost in different locations. Then you could go and spec it out, and you'd have to go to vendor websites, these rock dealers out there. So basically it's a gravel and landscaping and stone company, and find out how much it costs. You would have to factor in like weed barriers. You'd have to factor in the delivery cost. You'd have to factor in the delivery cost based on how far away you are from wherever the rock is. It turns out I'm pretty close to one of these companies, so it's not going to, it's like $100 for delivery. The other thing is right now, gas is expensive, or diesel. So there's a surcharge on top of the normal delivery fee. So there's like all these little details. And this, my friends, I know I haven't looked at the chat in a second, but I guarantee you couldn't get an AI writer to do this properly, because these are details. These are creative things that the AI writer is not going to be able to do. Even if you wrote a very detailed outline, I'm pretty sure they don't calculate how much it costs for gravel to be delivered. So that said, side tangent, now 8 people are going to ask about these AI writers. I have a nice list of ideas for a video series on AI writers. And there's actually been a few people emailing me from some of the companies out there to be an affiliate for their tool. So I'm going to test it. Here's the thing. I don't love using them, but I haven't used an AI writer in a long time. So I'm going to demo them. I'm going to compare them. I have been talking about this for a while. The thing is, I typically I'm just creating the content I want for YouTube. I mean, people enjoy the interviews. I do too. I mean, they're pretty decent interviews. I get to meet people. They're inspiring. But basically, they're podcasts, and I just happen to publish them on YouTube. I don't really publish new YouTube videos too often. So I'm going to get off my lazy ass, and I'm actually going to work on some of these reviews. And even though I don't love the AI tools as a, I don't want to say rule, but generally I'm like, I think a human could do a better job writing it. But I know that people want to understand how to use the tools, and people want to compare certain packages, because some tools have like package A and then package A plus and then like super premium or whatever. So people want to compare those, and then they want to know like one tool versus another. So I will finally concede, and I'll do some of the videos. Okay. So back to it over here, we're getting some ideas, and this is just how you do. This is how I would approach keyword research, and I'm talking through a lot of the ideas that I had, and I'm talking through like different content ideas based on just some of the keywords that I see in my small understanding of what to do. We also have, let's see, design ideas. So this one's a little bit tougher, it looks like. 36 KD, so it's still possible. And examples, let's see if there's anything else interesting. Oh, edging ideas. So here we're getting a little more detailed, and it's showing like no search volume, but it is an autocomplete. So my guess is the KD is actually harder than I thought, but I bet one of the reasons why is there are some e-commerce mixed in with that specific one. So edging may be a little tough, but I would take a look at the SERP specifically and look at the exact results here to see what they are and what the visit, like you'd have to interpret this, but what the searcher is actually interested in. All right, let's see if there's any more interesting ones here. Oh, xeriscape for dogs. Interesting. So 30 searches, and the KD is 27. So here, this is probably a good one to compete with. We got Pinterest on here, which we've had some discussion. I think Pinterest as a results page kind of sucks because it just doesn't quite make sense. Once you go over there, you end up not being able to access any of this stuff. It just seems a little funny to me because I don't use Pinterest. And funny thing, we have Ariel, who I'm supposed to interview shortly, is trying to join right now. Let me see what's going on. Maybe she's just eager to get in here. Maybe she accidentally joined. I'm supposed to interview her soon, but not right now. Let's see. Ariel, what's going on?
Hey, am I not supposed to be here?
No, but welcome.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
I thought our meeting was now.
It should be in 1 hour from now. But
Okay.
But the thing is, I was just talking in circles. So what's going on with you?
Everything's good, but it's the hottest day of the year, so my computer is really slow at the moment. So I thought might be a problem for our meeting anyway.
Well, there's no better way to test it than live.
Hey, everyone.
How hot is it there?
It is 40 degrees. I think we went up to 42 degrees. So yeah, it's quite hot for us.
Man, yeah, that's getting up there. Yeah, so we're just talking keyword research and informational keywords. So do you have any tips for informational keywords?
I've been stealing my competition's keywords lately, so there's that. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, no other tidbits? Just
Um,
steal?
yeah, Reddit. Yeah, stealing competitor keywords. Reddit reverse keywords. I love those. Reddit in Quora. So
Okay.
using Ahrefs. Yeah. Yeah, that's my method.
Cool. Well, can you talk through that? So you use Ahrefs and then you just look for the results specific to Reddit or Quora?
Yeah, so I'll go into reddit.com, of course, and then I think you can actually go to the subreddits of your niche, which is easier. But if you just go to Reddit as a whole and then you filter it out by your seed keyword, so you can just be creative and try different things. And yeah, it will show you all of the low competition, well, ones that have a low search, a decent search volume, but low competition. So
Got
using
it.
the filters, yeah.
And then have you run across, so, in the little research, I don't think you saw it, but in the research I was doing here, I knew a little bit about the topic area and I came up with some different ideas just because I knew a little bit about it. So in any of your niches, have you found that to be valuable where you're like, oh, I know this thing, so I know some keywords or at least an angle that a person unfamiliar would just not know to look for?
Yeah, definitely. If you know the niche, then there are things that you won't normally find on Google because you'd have to know, what the terms are, what people use. So that's helped a lot. But you can also just look at an ebook for the niche, and you can go through the contents and see what they talk about, and then use those as your keywords, as your seed keywords. I do that a lot for niches that I don't know much about. So
Perfect. Yep. And I know that was one of the early ideas I think that I ran across where it was like find books on Amazon. A lot of times you can see the table of contents just as a preview or something like that.
yeah,
And then you could look through that and then they really break it down and really it serves as like an outline for almost everything that you can have on your site. You have to go do a little more research or like go to the library and check out the book. But yeah, really good idea. Okay.
yeah.
So, couple comments from the crowd. Jason says it's the hottest day ever, and he converted it for us. It's 104.4 Fahrenheit. So, hottest ever, huh?
Yeah, well, of our year, and it's a pain for dogs. I've just recently got a puppy, and I can see how stressful it is for her. So yeah, it's horrible. I've had to put ice packs around the cage and put a fan on her, and it's crazy.
And then do you have air conditioning there?
No, because we don't usually have this kind of weather, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't be a good use of cash to buy an air conditioner because in a few weeks it's going to go back to cold and
Yeah.
and grey again. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well, back in Montana, we didn't have AC at our place either, just because, 8 months of the year, well, you got to run the heat. It's usually pretty cold, but yeah, a few couple weeks in the summer it would get pretty hot. Of course, it's like longer and longer now, but this is a new house, so we do have AC, and Colorado is much warmer. I'm also in the basement, so it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's probably like 65 degrees down here, which is,
actually,
I mean, it's very comfortable. I think it's like 15 C, something like that. I
oh,
mean,
okay, yeah,
it feels
yeah.
good. Some people would wear a sweater down here, so it's dark and cool, like it. Okay, so any other thoughts? I'll let you go here, and we'll catch up in a few minutes. I'm going to end here probably in like 13 minutes, so we'll hop back on. But yeah, any other things going on you want to mention to the crew?
No, not really. No, not really. Oh, well, actually, on the topic of informational keywords, we talked about looking in books for contents. You can also use those as your silos, which is a good way to plan out your content if you're just throwing different topics. It's yeah, that's helped me a lot because in the beginning I was just doing whatever keywords I found, But once you plan it out, then you know what to cover, and then you can interlink everything. So
Cool.
yeah, but that's it. That's about it.
Great tip. So, Ariel, let's come back on here at 45 past the hour.
Yeah.
Give me enough time to scarf down some lunch.
Okay.
All right,
All
stay
right, then.
cool. Yeah, get the fan on
See
you
ya.
for a second. All right,
Yeah.
bye. Okay, it's good to have a special guest in here. I'll be interviewing her shortly, and she was just a little bit early. I thought I sent over a meeting invite. I must have sent it to the wrong the wrong person or the wrong time, or who knows. But anyway, I'm going to take a super quick break to let my voice rest and run this clip from our friends at Otis.Global. This is brought to you by Otis Global. That's ODYS.global. They're the source for premium age domains, and the feature domain for today is the travel editor. And as you can imagine, this is a what used to be a travel site, and it was created back in 2007, so it's 15 years old. Currently, the domain rating is 30 if you check it out over on Ahrefs here. And let's see, there are 351 referring domains, and 254 of them are do follow. Some of them come from pretty big sites like BuzzFeed, SFGate, The Guardian, Groupon.com, and many, many more. You can monetize this in several different ways. It's totally up to you if you wanted to focus more on the informational type content for travel, or you could have product reviews. As you travel, you need different things for different places. So it's definitely worth looking at some of the affiliate products you could promote. Additionally, you could also write articles that are reviews where it's a kind of a referral basis to, say, specific tours to different locations. And I think this is one of those where you would never run out of keywords, especially informational keywords where it's location or activity based, and then you can combine them together, mix and match. So what's the best food tour in Longmont, Colorado, for example? And you could expand that out. Maybe it's best activities for children in Paris, right? It goes on and on and on. You would never run out of keywords. So this could be something that you're turning into like a passion project or something like that, where you really love travel, you like researching, you like planning trips. Maybe you can't travel as much, or if you are, say, like a digital nomad and you can travel all the time, this is the perfect kind of website that you could, just turn into your own passion project. So the cool thing with Otis Global, they provide you with a nice logo if you actually buy the site. If you join Odys using my affiliate link, you can get $100 in your account, and if you purchase anything, I might earn a commission. So thanks a lot to Odys, and we'll catch you on the other side here. All right. Was I wearing the same shirt there? I don't even remember when I recorded that. All right, so we're going to answer some questions here. If you didn't see the keyword research portion, you can rewind it or watch the replay or whatever. By the way, I know tons of people, most people actually watch the replay on this, so I appreciate you watching the replay. You can leave a comment to show your support. You can hit the thumbs up as well. You could do both of those things. And actually, even if you're watching now, you can come back later and leave a comment too. If you have time, it's no big deal. All right, I'm going to hit some questions. I see Philip asked some questions about AI, so I'll come back to that. Zach said, I don't know if I said hi to you, Zach. You said if anyone has a site in the AC niche, it would be a good week for it. Yeah, for sure. And it seems like it's probably going to be, it's going to be hot for a little while. So you may be able to throw some stuff together. All right. Excuse me. All right, let's go back up. There were some questions rolling in here. Oh, thanks for the people that hit the thumbs up. All right. Shah says, how to overcome fear, like many times we select a niche and we get stuck thinking on whether it will be a success or not. So this is another very common thought, a common thing that holds people back. It sends them into a spiral of like indecision, continued research, and not taking action. I heard someone, it was probably in a dumb Instagram post, and it said something like, measure twice and then cut once. But what happens is you're measuring like 500 times and you're never cutting anything. You're just chasing your tail, basically. So here's the deal. You won't know if it's going to be successful or not. So you just have to move forward and see what happens. The good part is if you actually have the balls to move forward, the ovaries as well, to move forward, you're going to have a different perspective from where you are now, and you'll probably be able to pivot and adjust and make it work. So just move forward. Probably your first couple attempts are not going to be as successful as you hope. You may call them a failure in the future, but you kind of got to get those out of the way. Otherwise, you just don't have the foundational knowledge to move forward. And as you're making mistakes, you're recognizing patterns, you're avoiding those in the future, you're making better decisions. So really, like taking action kind of solves the problems here. Quick shout out. I think my friend Alex Cooper over at WP Eagle is going live in a little while, in 6 minutes or so. So hop over and check that out. So Shah, yeah, the punchline is you have to just take action, move forward, and you don't know if it's going to be a success. You just have to try and then adjust when the time's right, if you need to. Malik says, someone copied my content and his article is few positions below mine due to low competition. What should I do regarding this activity? If they copied your content exactly, you can file a copyright I don't know what you call. Well, you can claim your copyright if they copied it exactly, and you could file a DMCA, is that what it's called? Digital Millennial Copyright Act, with the hosting company, and they usually take that very seriously, and very quickly they will take the site down. So DMCA takedown. Thanks, Zach. And it takes a few minutes and you can get it done. All right. I'm going to see what other questions I missed here. Okay. Gaz mentions, I love the way my site looks and the content, but I really need backlinks. Rankings are increasing slowly because the visitors are engaged with my content. All right, moving through. I think there were a couple more questions. Dan asks, has anyone used links that rank as a link building service? Any feedback? I have not, but feel free, if anyone has, to mention it. It's 89 in Chicago, but 72 in Zach's apartment. Yeah, that's all right. Guy says he met Ariel at Affiliate Gathering. She's great. All right. Philip says, how's the AI going? So I don't use any AI tools. Are you worried your site will be hit if you use an AI tool in the next update? Don't use them. Can you ask the question? However, I will be doing a series and doing some reviews of the tools that are out there because everyone is so excited about the AI tools. So I'm going to see what it's all about. I know as I've talked to so many people, apparently there is a way to use them that is viable in some way. Although the example that I gave earlier, Philip, about some of the content ideas I had for the random xeriscape ideas, like you could not give an AI tool the topics that I was talking about and have it output anything like usable. But to answer your question, I won't. I'm not worried. I won't be using AI content in the next update. I don't think it's a like for me and what I'm trying to do, that it's not a good like use of time or a tool or anything like that. But yes, you can ask that question. That's totally fine. And the thing is, from everyone can see how this works from a marketing perspective. Number one, I've resisted these AI tools for quite a while. The other part is I have been told so many times that they can be used for certain things. So I'm going to check it out. From a marketing and monetization perspective, you will see that I am going to put my affiliate links. I'm going to be creating good content. I'm going to be hopefully disclosing exactly the kind of stuff that I'm saying, where I'm like, if you want to write original content, you probably can't use an AI tool. It's not going to come up with new ideas for you. There's probably better ways to use these tools than not, but I'm going to put my affiliate links in there and you can see how like affiliate marketing can work. This is, really even, I don't have a strong definition or feeling, but I mean, it is sort of selling out in some way where I'm like, you know what? I'm giving like the audience wants to see AI content reviews. So I'm going to give it to them and I'm going to earn some money at the same time. At the same time, I have a very broad spectrum of information. And if some people want to try AI tools, and I would never recommend, anyone that takes my courses to use AI tools. There's a better, smarter way to do this, but it'll be an interesting thing to go through. And like I said, actually create some YouTube videos with the intent of getting views, earning some money, and keeping the machine going, moving forward here. Okay, we're almost done. Marcus says, I probably spend way too much time on writing articles, but they usually rank high. 3,000 word article per day is quite a lot. I also design imagery and such. Perfectionism is not good, and outsourcing is the next step. So here's the deal, Marcus. I think this is what people need to be doing. So everyone is moving towards like publishing a ton of content using bullshit AI tools. We'll see how the reviews go. But I just interviewed a young 25-year-old. He's earning, in June, he earned $32,000. In June, he earned $32,000 from his sites. I think there's like 4 main ones, but the 2/3 of it was from one site. He's doing long form content. He said, I don't have that much content for how much I'm earning. My traffic numbers are not huge. And I'm spending however long I need to write one piece of content. He has a couple writers too, but the point is it's high quality. He's not going for a huge volume. He's going for high quality and good reviews. People that earn a lot of money tend to do that. There's many different business models, but everyone right now is trying to publish not everyone, but a lot of people are trying to publish quickly, low quality content, and you end up with like kind of a race to the bottom. Someone can just get your, look at what keywords you're using and then write it a little bit better, not using a horrible tool. Daniel says, I'm dyslexic, so AI tools are literally a tool. I work better editing rather than writing a blank page. Fair enough. I'm going to start a website built with 95% AI as a little experiment. Very cool. Malik says, should I email the owner of the site to give me a backlink from the article before DMCA? Nah, fuck that guy or gal. Just file the thing. you're like negotiating with a thief. So yeah, just fucking file the DMCA. All right. Okay, and Ruby says, how do they detect AI? Oh, sorry. Marcus says you should always rewrite or complement or amend the AI content. Google can detect AI content. And Ruby says, how can they detect it? I agree. How can they detect it? Marcus says, not sure how, but they probably detect patterns because AI content is based on other content that's already out there. And my argument, so I don't love the AI tools, but I don't think that Google can I mean, when we write, we use patterns and we do research from other content that's already out there. So if I wrote an article, I would probably, I mean, it maybe would look like AI content. Who knows? I mean, not me specifically, but anyway. All right. I think that's it for today. So we went a tad long. I will skip the guitar playing today because I have to eat quickly. Because Ariel is going to be calling me back very shortly here. So I'll hop over to Alex's channel. Check out his live stream. And I think we're going live tomorrow for the Niche Lifestyle Show. I don't know the topic or where it's at, but it's either on Niche Website Builders channel or Alex's channel. I think it's on Alex's channel. He'll tell you where it's at because I think it's on his channel. Okay, we'll catch you next time. And if you want to sign up to be notified when I go live, there's a link in the description here. And usually